Before we get to the episode, exciting news. I have a new podcast, a second podcast. I am the host and producer of the Strandcast, the official podcast for Strand Bookstore in New York City at 12th and Broadway, the coolest independent bookstore. And now there's a podcast every other week featuring long-form conversations with authors from different genres. The Strandcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher. Just search for the Strandcast. Links will be in the show notes, of course, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now for the show. Hello there, my friend. Welcome to a new episode of Talk Music Talk with Boyce. I am Boyce, and this is my podcast. You are checking out Talk Music Talk is a weekly music interview podcast where I have long-form conversations with people connected to music from different genres and different backgrounds, both established and emerging. Singers, singer-songwriters, music therapists, music journalists, music photographers. And on this new episode, well, first, let me wish you a happy new year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday, or maybe you are just glad that it's over, but it's a new year, a new decade, a new slate, and this is the first TMT of 2020, and I am glad to present one of my favorite musical artists, the second show, the second time, the return visit of the most talented Nick Pope, singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and a graphic designer. As I said, second time on the show. First interviewed him over 2 years ago when his album Howlin' Flood was out, episode 139. Of course, I will put the links in the show notes. That was a great conversation with him. He has a new album out. It is called Wild Me Out, and it is pretty spectacular. We caught up in this conversation. We have not seen each other in over 2 years since that interview. He talks about getting married since then, the joys of being an independent artist. He talks about the making of Wild Me Out, the concept behind it, and how this album fits in with his past ones. He also talks about the progression of his music. And after the conversation, you will hear 2 songs from Wild Me Out. Nick said I could choose 2 of my favorites, so I chose Turn 10 and Holyoke, but I recommend the entire album. We recorded this at the D'Angelico Showroom, 141 West 28th Street, New York City. Thanks to Ryan Kershaw for hooking the venue up for us to record. And this is the first time in TMT history that I am including the sound check. But when you hear the interview, it will all make sense. Here it is, without further ado, my conversation with Nick Pope. Enjoy. I'm going to get sound check, Nick.
Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, boop.
What'd you
doop. What did I eat for breakfast? You know what? I'll tell you exactly what I ate for breakfast. Okay, this is from a gut healthy cookbook.
Okay.
All right, I prepared this myself for me and my new wife.
I was going to ask you. I saw the wedding band.
Deadass.
But I was saving that for on air.
Yeah, well.
But I want to hear both, the breakfast and then...
I'll tell you about the breakfast.
Okay.
It was a hot and spicy fruit salad. We're talking not cantaloupe. We're talking honeydew melon, strawberries, blueberries. We're talking minced jalapeno.
Okay.
We're talking some chopped up mint and basil, all dressed with some lime and orange juice. Bada bing.
That sounds great, dude.
It's a solid hot and spicy way to get your morning started.
And that's in your gut healthy cookbook?
This is is in my this is in our gut healthy cookbook.
Okay. Did you have gut issues and that's why you got the cookbook?
I do not have gut issues. I may have gut issues.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Leaky gut?
Leaky gut.
I still don't know what that means, though. I like saying it.
Yeah, no, I don't quite know either. I don't know what's... I should know.
Yeah.
I should know because I've been reading about it. But the fact is, if for whatever reason you take a ton of antibiotics, which happens sometimes, you have to do that for severe poison ivy.
Okay. Wow.
It can disrupt the bacteria in your gut, and problems can arise. And so sometimes it's necessary to sort of start from scratch and regenerate the health of your gut. That's all we're trying to do here with this book.
So before we even get to the wife thing.
The wife thing.
Severe poison ivy? Is that? Wait, what's the story behind that?
It's a horrid.
Okay.
Truly horrid.
I want to hear it.
It was a year ago, nearly to the day. Yeah, my wife, we were preparing her mother's backyard 4-hour wedding. That's where we were going to have it, in the backyard. And so we were doing a ton of chopping down, brush, etc. Don't tell the Concord, Forest Society about this, but we were taking down a lot of natural material and to clear room for us, for our ceremony. And yeah, one of the first big in it days, which felt great afterwards. We thought we had gotten through so much. She ended up with an incredibly severe case of poison ivy on both of her legs. Massive boils. This is still
just her or you?
Just
both
her,
of you?
Just
okay.
Her. Just her. Grotesque.
Really? Okay.
I mean, the most horrendous skin debacle I've ever seen. So anyway, that it just lasted longer than we thought because it's bad. It's bad, as we say.
Yeah.
And wraps and my sister and her boyfriend are sort of doctors, and I mean. They're sort of doctors are on their way to become doctors.
Do I need to call someone?
They're not old, they've not have always been sort of doctors. They're in med school.
Good distinction.
Right.
Yes.
So she was helping. She's describing the pros and cons of antibiotics, but at certain points, it's you kind of just have to take them when you have to. And so anyway, I could show you some pics, but it was bad. It was tough.
Okay.
It was a tough time. She got through it. Legs look fine now, but the gut still struggling
from the antibiotics.
So yeah, it's a strange. I mean, wow, all this stuff. It's a complicated body. It's a complex situation, and you start to see that when you have systematic problems based off of this or that. So.
Okay. So the ground clearing, was that how many days before the wedding? So was she at the wedding with poison ivy?
No, thank God. This was probably a year before.
Okay.
So we had we got engaged in, I don't know, July or something in the summer, and for pretty much we got married in September. So we sort of had this whole, and we were going to do it at her mom's house, and so we spent that year preparing the yard and all this stuff, and I ended up getting some decent poison ivy as well afterwards.
So this wasn't retribution from Mother Nature, was it?
Can't be sure, but we definitely have a lot of techno now, and we're taking precautions. Because that's unpleasant.
Yes.
But yeah, Jesus, what the heck now? With we have to just change our whole diet because of this one day. Freaking, it's a mess.
Well, I hope she's feeling better.
She is feeling better.
Okay, that's good.
Especially, I think she is very grateful that I have embraced the role of gut healthy cookbook chef.
Okay. So what's it like being married?
It's the exact same minus all the stress of planning a wedding.
Okay. See, you were the first honest person to ever answer that question. Everyone else was oh, it's completely different. It's night and day.
Well, we're 10 years in.
Yeah. But even people, they've lived wedding together forever, and they still oh, no, it's completely...
No, honestly, huge relief. Really glad it's over. I mean, honestly, it also helps that it went very well. The wedding was a blast. But... we're a strong couple.
Yeah.
And it was remembering the times, the weeks and the months before the wedding, that was a lot. And the weeks and the months and the years before that, the pressure. So I never had any what's it called? I never had any like questions for myself about like, do I want to spend the rest of my life with this person? I was kind of like felt that way.
Yeah.
But then you have to deal with some of the obstacles of the human society.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be on this side of it.
That's good. That's good. So was the wedding day, did it feel like you imagined? Like, how was it?
It was incredible. I mean, wow, a lot of planning. I mean, it was a very DIY wedding. We had a lot of people, a lot of good friends involved. Some funky stuff going on. We arrived on canoes.
Yeah.
You know, classic.
That was your entrance?
Was
on canoes?
It was. We came off of an island. We arrived on canoes. I played drums for an hour and a half with a rotating cast of attendees. And we had a surprise birthday party for some people that were there. There was a lot of fun stuff that we had planned that all like pretty much went to plan. Our hotel didn't kick us out at the end of the night.
Excellent.
Just wow.
Good.
Many people. So many people I loved were there. It's just an incredible.
That's good, dude. So, because the last time I saw you, we saw each other, was it 2 years? Has it been 2 years?
Yeah, way too long.
The previous album? What was the previous album called?
2017, I think.
Okay. So like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait, we were in that little hotel room.
Oh, it was, my friend had an office. Yes. And we would go to the office and we recorded. Was that where we did it?
I think so.
Okay. I can't remember.
It was I remember coming down through a lobby at some point.
Yes, that would have been the office. So what have you been doing musically these past 2 years?
Well, it's funny.
Has it all led up to this album or what?
Since then, there's been a few things, but writing, absolutely. Yes, it has come up to this album. I some of these songs have been written for a while, but in that time, like I've had since that last album. I mean, I really started my first band since I saw you. With Nora and Ben and Eric and Devin, and we played shows, and it was the most sort of thorough band where I'm the band leader experience of my life so far. It was excellent, and we were doing it. And I played drums at a point. I played guitar at a point. We had some people move, and we adjusted. We had some electronic drums. We had a few different things going on, and somewhere along that line, I kind of started to focus more on the recording, and I wanted to like finish this album. I had a ton of songs, but it is also interesting to approach an album where we were playing the songs. I had never done that before with my music. It had never been played before it was recorded. So that was really interesting. And then, it's time, things, and people and places, and then there's the wedding, and that was like a year, whatever. Just you planning. So we sort of had taken a little hiatus from playing live. We played a few things, but I was focused a little bit more on getting this album done. So I'm so glad to just have decided to be here and be releasing it. I mean, even I had so many things recorded earlier and so many other things I wanted to include that like there have been so many different this is a weird way of putting it, but like amputations where I'm like, we can't save all of this I can't keep all this right now. Like, I just have to trim the fat of like this and this and this and this and this, and like I have friends just being like, are you gonna put out any music ever or what? Yeah. And so yes, I am.
That's what led to that.
Finally, it's happening. And
how does it feel? How did the songs change, or how do you feel about the songs when you record, playing them live before you go into studio, which you had not previously done?
It's also like especially strange because for a lot of the songs we ended up using like it was simultaneous. It's like I am we're playing them, I'm recording them, we play it again, I'm editing in them.
Okay.
You know, a band member leaves, we adjust how we play it, I'm still editing it. So it's kind of like a lot of them there's this big mishmash the whole way through. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't so much like we just went on tour and now I'm coming back to the studio and what am I going to do? It's kind of like literally all the way through. And so sometimes you play a show and you some inflection comes through vocally and you're like, I'm going to include that one. Mm-hmm. Or like, oh, I liked how we extended the ending this time. And like, I'm going to go try and include that. Or like the bass player like played this little fill and like, oh, we got to do that. So, so that was like kind of that was a fun part about it for sure. And then it's just it was sort of ever evolving. Okay, all the way through.
And how many songs did you record? Many more than make the album? Because there's 10 on the album.
There's 11.
11.
I mean, I have like probably like 15 or 20 more things.
Because you're prolific, from what I remember, right?
Some people have said that, but it's not. I don't think so. I think I need to be doing a little bit more work. I think I need to be putting stuff out. And not just
prolific in writing, but not the releasing part. What holds you back from putting out more stuff?
My friend Kyle Joseph, who insists that he could make it better if he mixed it. Okay. And he's like probably right. And so he did. That was a huge part of this. That's a huge part of why things take longer, which I appreciate because, you know, for this album I had finished it and then I sent it out to my homies to be like, hey, like, is there anything egregious in this mix? And Kyle, all along, you know, he's one of my greatest buddies and a big fan of my music, and we've played forever. And he sort of he's been persistent that he wants to be involved and help, you know, enhance what I'm doing and sort of take the role of one of the things that I'm doing that he would lightly put like that. You know, it's not my best. Piece of my character, profession, or whatever. So anyway, like that had sort of been a long thing with this album. He wants to help out, and he doesn't want to push me too hard. But I just want to put it out. I just want to do this myself and whatever. But I also can hear him in the back of my head, and I also like want it to be as good as it can be. You believe in what you're doing, and you accept that, like, no, to some degree the mixing is a part of the musicianship for sure. I need to make sure I can sort of give a first round of directorialship edits to this whole thing. I want to be involved all the way through. But once I at least get that whole thing across, I can kind of hand off all these pieces back to you, and you can do some of that special stuff you do with your talents. And you know, that's it's so I'm grateful for that when we go through it, and I give it back to some of my great friends that I'm my homies that I'm constantly passing stuff back and forth with, and even like Nora and Ben, the people in my band, you know, and they have a really positive reaction to it, and they feel like, oh, there's a depth now that was not there before. There's a width and like some like space that is special feeling, and it still feels like the song, but just enhanced. And so, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah. Does your opinion of the song change when there's like that lapse of time between when you hand it off to him and then like when he gets it back to you?
Well, so those are actually not. It's not so distant. It's pretty back and forth. Like that's 24 hours we're talking about. Like I'll hand it off. He'll do some stuff. You know, the big bulk of the tweaking and the this and that. And then it's. I mean, ideally we'd be in the same freaking room, which is why it's such a struggle. Like we used to live in the same city, and now we're like over the phone, and I'm like listening to it, and he's like playing stuff back, and I get an idea from like the freaking phone, but it's not it. But anyway, so we're still like pretty involved, but it's tiring to do it that way. But I think to answer your question, there aren't huge like leaps between edits. It's kind of like he'll do his initial switches, and then we're kind of like piece by piece by piece.
Got it. So the album's called Wowed Me Out.
Wowed Me Out.
Wowed Me Out.
As in, that feeling really wowed me out.
Yes. I like that. So to explain the whole concept, this album has a concept, right? A story behind it.
Yeah.
Explain what that is.
To some degree. Well, let me start with that. So this feeling really wowed me out derives from a very specific feeling when, I guess I'll speak for myself, but when I was little, of 5, 4, and I'm out in the yard, full gear in the, if it's snowing, winter, covered in snow, playing forever. You come back inside and you like take off your stuff, you shake off your gloves. You're like this little bug that's like freezing cold and covered in clothes. But then your face is so warm and it's like bright red. And I just remember like the feeling of touching my face and like the hands are cold and the face and just like that whole feeling was very, and like sitting in your little mud room or whatever, like standing in that sensation was just very rich. And I remember thinking about it, and I talked about it a lot at the time because my neighbor would make fun of me because I'd always be like, feel your skin, like touch your skin. And so
like the juxtaposition between coming from the cold, but there's still part of you that's warm.
Yeah, something about that, and just the skin and the touching, and it's a little strange, but I vividly remember that sensation as being especially wowing. And so that song, Turn 10, which is kind of a pillar of the whole album in my mind, really just harkens back on a lot of that nostalgia, a lot from that era, from the 90s for me, the early 90s. All the little things I was doing, all the sort of stuff that surrounded those feelings. That song specifically is kind of about realizing that people hang out outside of your class. Like when you just had the one class and it was just like the 20 kids or whatever, and you get to a certain age where like you realize that people are like hanging out from different classes at other like cool kids' houses, and you're like, this is a disaster. Like that's when my mind started to, I was kind of like interested in girls and like groups and gossip and stuff. That was around 10. That was 5th grade for me. When it was literally the moment I realized, like, you guys don't only know the people inside your own class. Cliques. I think I understood what cliques were at that moment. And then that's when my mind started to go mushy for like decades.
That you were in the clique or outside of the clique?
Just that there were cliques. And like I was like, what?
And you may have to do or something to be inside a clique.
It was things were simpler. It was a simpler time before then. And so much sweeter, I think. And that's kind of what this song's about.
So for this album, is it about that feeling of... ... and I'll let you take over.
Right. Well, just there ended up being... these songs all come from a period of time where... I don't know. For whatever reason, I think a majority of... I was thinking a lot. There was a lot of nostalgia going on. And we've sort of talked about this in the past, but, these two songs, Medfield and Turn 10, I think are kind of the pillars of the album, the two sort of poles in a way. I think of them that way. And it's just like a lot of lyricism about my childhood and thinking a lot about that time, and sometimes likening it or comparing it in some way to like the present or bringing it into the present in different ways. And there's a few moments across the album that, play in that realm.
Yeah.
And I think when I had a moment listening to the album where I was a little sick of the spaces between the songs, and I just, inspired somewhat by Malibu, Anderson .Paak, his interludes, and I think there's some Frank Ocean. There's some other like interludes that I was interested in. Like, let's just keep it going throughout, and I think, because of where my head was with this music, I had a compulsion to reach out to my father and ask for some home videos. He sent me some VHSs from the early 90s, and I went through some old stuff, and I grabbed some sound bites. And he just found some good bits to help sort of tie these songs together. And I'm pretty excited about how it encapsulates this moment. And some of the songs are more directly about that content, and some are less. But I'm excited about the shape that it forms together.
Yeah, and it does what some albums, when they have interludes, it's distracting. But this is not distracting. I don't know how you did that specifically.
I'm glad to hear that.
Because you're like, I wish I could skip over all these interludes, but I never felt like that. It didn't take away from the songs. They flowed.
I did want to keep it. I did want to keep them like relatively brief. They're not like supposed to be this thing that you have to dig into. It's supposed to kind of like curry your. Is that a verb? Curry.
We'll allow it.
I'm going for it.
For the hour it is.
Courier you to the next song. And I kind of like love how even in a car it's like maybe you get the words, maybe you can actually hear it, but regardless you get the space, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Did you go into this knowing you wanted an album about this, or as you were writing songs and feeling reflective, they sort of came together that way?
Yeah, definitely more that way. I mean, because I have a ton of songs, and you're always, I don't know. No, I don't have a label. I have no one telling me to do anything.
Yeah,
so I'm just
do whatever the hell you want.
Wild fucking West.
I love that in a way. You can just do whatever the hell you want.
Isn't that the coolest part about being an artist?
Yes.
I mean, you're literally just making decisions. That's what makes you an artist. You either did or you did not. And I was like, yes, I will do that.
Yes.
And then they're like, you can call yourself an artist.
Yes, and there you go.
Yeah. So what was the question?
The latter, that the songs were, as you were writing the songs, and you were reflecting, and they came together like that.
Exactly. No, yeah. It's because you can be an artist even if you're not on a label. You can be a musician.
Yes.
You don't need a band. You don't need a plan.
It's the act of doing it.
Literally, that's it. Yeah. And so I am doing that, and I'm pretty sure I will always do that. But I was doing it for this album, and no plan at all, right? You're just sometimes it's just like I have to go get my guitar. I just had a thought.
Yeah.
I got to go do this. Turned 10. I was watching the Power Rangers trailer, or it just came on for whatever reason. And I just had this thought that like I loved the Power Rangers as a kid, but I didn't read comic books. Like I watched the Power Rangers. I did not read comic books. And literally in the background, Winter Song by Blake Mills was playing the outro. And I just started riffing about like the fact that I had not read comic books, but I did watch Power Rangers, which is the first lyric to the song. I didn't read comic books. I watched Power Rangers. Over that, I stole the chords from Winter Song. Yeah. Like that's, I'm pretty sure. I might have changed it, but I'm pretty sure that was it. But like, you can just do that. People don't get that. You can literally steal whatever you want. You like those chords? Take those chords. Yeah. Make your own damn song. Just talk about something.
Nobody owns those chords.
No, they took them from somebody else. Yeah. So no, there was no plan.
Okay.
But then I was like, oh, I like these, and for the most part, like these are done, and I just need to put something out.
So you could have actually put out a totally different album instead of this one.
Well, they're not. The other songs aren't done.
Okay.
Recorded.
Yeah, but that could have.
Yeah. If I could do. Yes.
Yes.
I should. Yeah. People have done harder stuff in a shorter amount of time. I could do it.
So you had been missing, as we were saying before when you emailed me and before we recorded today, you'd been missing off of social media. Has that been because of the wedding and writing?
I think I'm inclined in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
People, my friends know that about my phone is sometimes tough to contact.
Yeah.
And it's like I really don't have any sort of thesis about it, but I did definitely have some times where I was like mindlessly scrolling.
Yeah,
and I think I just had to. I decided that was not something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that was like a few years ago. And it's been like pretty absent from my life, which is, at a time like this, when you want to put something out, it's like I have urges to say things to the world. You really can't do that without social media.
Yeah.
Like I've never been on Twitter, but sometimes I'm like watching something or something happens that involves some celebrity and I want to say something to that celebrity. And I can't.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you like really can with Twitter as like a nobody, like me. Like if I tweet at Jimmy Fallon, he's not going to see it, right? I don't think.
And yet with social media, he may.
Yeah,
like Madonna will scroll through her comments.
But so it's been pretty absent.
Yeah. It's an interesting dilemma for artists in this era because you may hate the social media part or being online, but yet if you want to promote your career, it's like this,
and that's where it's like
almost
there's a
necessary
distinction.
thing.
It's like I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I am inactive. I am bad at doing it for myself, and I don't like how I feel when I'm mindlessly scrolling through stuff. Those are all the pieces of the equation. I really am not like I don't have some idea about why it's bad.
Yeah,
really. But because of those things, I am not on it.
Yeah.
And yet, at this point, at this juncture, yes, it'd be super useful to be able to be like, hey, everyone.
New album.
Please check it out. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. No, but I understand. I feel like
I wonder if I'll have some haters. I don't even, probably not. They wouldn't even notice.
It was like that thing.
You just show up when you want something.
Yeah, you do that. Hey, everybody.
Take me. I'm back.
I'm going to be out for a few months.
I don't even think I'm going to reference the fact that I've been gone.
Yeah, just pop in.
Just be like, new album.
Yeah. You're like that old friend that's back. And
please check it out.
Yeah, you're always welcomed. Yeah. But, there is that thing where, like, I find myself mindlessly scrolling, say, for, like, 40 minutes, right? And then you're like, God, I could have done something really productive. Like, you're like, you could have written a song in 40 minutes.
When I'm like, my album's not out and I'm just on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Now I feel that way about like Netflix. Like I can accidentally, or like freaking YouTube NFL highlight vids. Like, it's just like
I just lost an hour,
45 minutes
of my life.
Like so much I could be doing instead. And not to say that those things are always bad. You just got to be conscious.
Yeah.
So is this still the check? Is this still
yes, we're still doing the sound check. Wouldn't it be crazy? I was like, now we're going to start the interview, Nick.
Last time you gave me now we're starting. Like, was all that Poison Ivy stuff part of it?
See, okay. I love the whole realness that you could do with an interview. So I normally would not include a sound check, which we're still doing. No, but the sound check actually led to something. So I probably will keep. And the fact that I'm even saying this now, I will keep that in.
Wow.
Yeah, I keep it real, Nick Pope.
Cool.
So for the album, how is this different from the past stuff that you've made?
My God, it's very different. It is. Very different.
Okay. What ways?
In what ways? One is very just technical, logistical. The last album was unique in the way that it it was me and Kyle in a studio, all like 5 days. We recorded everything, all the live instruments, from nothing to 100%. 5 days, and then we mixed the whole thing remotely. You know, him in New York, me in Boston, over the next like month. So that the element that it was all recorded in those short amount of time is very unique. The album before, Souvenirs and Astronauts, is a little bit closer to the way I'm doing it now, because I realized I wanted to get back to that, because I realized that like the mixing process and being at the controls is a big part of the musicianship for me. You know, I'm not like a virtuosic. I'm not a virtuoso in speaking. Okay, I'm not a virtuoso in anything really, but I think my virtuosity,
I think you're
may come out.
I think you are in melodies.
Well, in at least like the whole thing. Like that's what I need to be. I want to be writing the melodies. I want to be writing the guitar parts, the bass part. I want to be like getting the sounds. I want to be editing the rhythms together. The whole thing. You know, it's like, and when it comes down to the mixing, getting the exact like, there's stuff about like depth and space that I don't understand in the mixing world, but I can get to a certain point with everything that it really is like part of what I'm trying to say. It's part of the whole message. Because it sucks when you're an artist and you're trying to get across your art and you get like cut off at a certain point and you can only do a certain amount of it.
Yeah.
And that happens, I feel like I've had that happen in a couple different ways. But I've realized, at least like through this process, that I need to be involved to that extent. But I can also give it up after that point, and I can let somebody else come in and make some other edits that don't encroach on what I'm trying to say, but enhance what I'm trying to say, if they're the kind of person who can see what's going on. So why this one is different is in that logistical way. This was all recorded. I recorded everything myself over, months, years. And I think I am more connected with the lyrics on this album than any album before, all the way through. I'm really excited about them. I feel like in the past I've had to like hide some lyrics in my mind. Like I'm like posting them on Bandcamp, and I'm like, maybe I just won't post the lyrics to this song or like this bit, or just I'm not really connected with them. Sometimes they're a little bit. They have been like applied to a melody, and I just need to say something, and it's like time to record, and we're in the studio, and it's like just put something there, and it hasn't necessarily been what I'm trying to say, but the narratives in all of these songs, I am really hoping people will listen to and read and enjoy. Yeah.
Why do you think that happened this time?
Can't be sure.
Okay. Did they go through a lot of drafts?
No.
Okay.
You know what? You're right. It's the opposite of that.
Okay.
They didn't go through a lot of drafts.
But it felt right.
They were really kind of quick. They were like, I gotta go write these down. I like where I'm at. And so
I just
stop bashing.
Nick was bashing the table and I put my hand on top of his to stop.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like At Once and Medfield and Turn 10 and they were like, I couldn't help but write the songs.
Okay.
As opposed to that tumultuous, like, what am I going to write and how am I going to write it? I feel like there's such a small amount of that throughout this album. There's a lot of natural compulsion to write and find these lyrics.
Okay. You like the whole working this way as opposed to, I guess, when I found out your music was like pretty much bedroom? Was it?
Well, this is still so. This is a step back into the bedroom world, where at least for a huge phase of it, where I'm writing it and I'm recording it, it's all bedroom.
Yeah,
it's all me and my laptop, the plug, and blah blah blah, and my underwear.
Okay,
and then once it's all done, I send all the stems to my homie who dresses them up.
Yes,
puts clothes.
You like working that way, like being able to just do it in your bedroom, at least the initial.
Yeah.
What are you working on? Like, what's your setup?
I have a MacBook Pro, a Duet, an Apogee Duet, and that's it. That's just two. Just got two outs. I got my mic. I got my. Oh God, I don't even know. Rode one.
Okay.
Maybe I used to have I have an SM7 I used to use. Some chords. I have a banana shaker.
To connect them together.
Got a bunch of D'Angelico guitars.
Yeah.
The D'Angelico showroom.
Where we're at right now. See, I think this is wonderful because there's so many people that think that they have to be in a quote unquote real studio to even make their album.
Well, that's not their fault. That is not their fault.
Yeah.
They have that image and that idea pushed on them. I'm a huge advocate for the stay-at-home musician. Yeah. and it's like more than just your dad picks up a guitar every now and again.
Yeah.
Your mom plays the piano. It's like how to pursue your musical interests if you don't have a freaking label and you're not recording this thing or that thing and you don't have this plan. Because so many people, I think everybody, but so many people have found their love for writing or for playing, for being involved in music. You're a dancer, you sing, you're like close to it. It's all this stuff. There are instruments. Yeah, that's a step. You have to learn how to do that, but it's one of the most incredible spaces to inhabit, I think, is musicianship. And it's tough that there aren't more opportunities for people to engage with that side of them available.
Yeah. And what do you think it is about you that makes you keep getting up to do it in your underwear, in your bedroom studio, that you keep doing it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it's one thing to make the music, but then to put the music out.
Well, I'm much better at making the music than putting it out.
But even like the promotional part, you may not be. That's your thing, but you still put it out.
Yep. No, I mean, I am invested that much that I do find a way to put it out, and I do like struggle through that process of it. But while you're making it, you're like, who cares? Let's just make it, and who cares if anybody listens to it? But you're like, then once you're done, you're like, well, it'd be awesome if people like did listen to it. Spent all this time. And so, they're like, oh, well, maybe I will try and find a little bit of promotion, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But, before that, what is it that makes me write songs? I mean, as soon as I found that outlet, now it's something that I crave in moments of in like intensity, in question, in uncertainty. Really, the richest moments of my life are paired with this opportunity to absorb them and digest them and see them and prop them up with this tool. So I value that tool and that inclination, more than anything. I don't know how you develop it into an inclination, how like now when I'm in a rough spot, I sort of twist it if I'm struggling with something, at least I have this way to see it again instead of just something that's hurting you. I can be like, well, why is it hurting me? And how clearly can I describe that and what chords should be under it?
Okay.
You know?
How can I make it rhyme?
Yeah.
How can I make this pain rhyme?
Exactly, boys. How do I make this pain rhyme?
Yes. So we got the albums. When is the album out? Is it officially out?
Jan 1.
January.
You can tell
Jan 1.
you can tell that nobody's in control because in case no one has any plans on Jan 1 at 12 a.m.
Okay.
That's when the album launches.
Okay.
Yeah, and so bada bing.
I like that.
That whole month I'll be releasing some stuff. I got a show January 22nd live on WERS.
Okay.
8 p.m. It's kind of a Boston-based thing, but
everywhere can be Boston now online. Yeah,
exactly.
There you go.
So that's really fun. We did this actually a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, but it was fun. It was like a live thing. Me and Nora and Ben went in and we played 3 songs, and we're going to be doing that again.
Sounds good.
And then I got this podcast with this dude Voice, so we're putting that out. But yeah, I'm going to be releasing some videos as well for some of the songs.
Excellent.
And I'll tell you what, I think some of these songs are pretty good. I think they're pretty fun.
I love this album,
I think
dude.
they're pretty sweet, and I'm stoked. So.
Okay. And I don't mean this as an insult. I think I even like this album better than the previous album, dude. Because I was a stan for the album before that.
You really were.
Yeah, I found you on Bandcamp.
Because this is a step, like I said, that this previous album, which I have a huge place in my heart for, absolutely. It was an experiment. It was something else a little bit. This is a little bit back home, and I think better than ever. Yeah.
Excellent, dude. And I feel almost weird saying this to you. Best place for people to keep up with you online?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Or why don't we just say, people could just listen, get the album on Bandcamp.
Yeah, or Bandcamp, or Spotify. Honestly, I don't know if I'm just, clinging to the Spotify freaking teat here, but... God, do I love looking at those analytics.
It's so fun seeing everybody share that.
You see, different parts of the world, people are at. It's, cool.
Yeah.
So that's why I like when people listen on Spotify, personally. I'm not getting any money from it. It's like a 0.0 gazillion cents. But I do love the stats and the graphs. I'm a graphic designer, so I like to see those numbers and colors.
Yes, I forgot about that. You do all your
But also, hey, Bandcamp.
Graphics.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Let's just listen. That'd be awesome.
Yes. So, the incredible Nick Pope.
Wow. Thanks, boys.
I love you, man.
Who are you going to show this to?
Town got sunny. Front of y'all mama calling me it smelled funny. Church hurt, my head got sick, my head got sick, my head got sick. When church hurt, my head got sick, body's been combating ever since. Church hurt, my head got sick, my head got sick, my head got sick. Church hurt, my head got sick, body's been combating ever since. Bunk beds, playdates, chocolate sauce and vanilla milkshake, swim pond for your birthday. 8:15, we were staying over late, having a catch, having a talk, throwing fits, throwing rocks, chicken patties, chicken pox, playing outside till the snow in my socks. Come back in and my brother'd stay out. My very favorite part about the winter was shaking off my gloves and touching my face. Is that feeling always wild me out, wild me out? That feeling always wild me out, wild me out. That feeling always wild me out, wild me out. That feeling always wild me out, wild me out, wild me out, wild me out. This'll be my way out. This'll be my way out. Fingers freezing, body moving slow. Take a breath before I go. Sweetness stains the corners of my jaws. I remember what I was. Say that gets so cold out there. It's the last thing that we'd ever say. Last thing that we'd ever say.
$1 for sweeping. Nick. Hey, Nick, want another dollar? Then I got a sweep. Nick, to want another dollar, then I got a sweep.
And you just heard two from Nick Pope, Holyoke, and Turn 10, both from Wild Me Out, available on Bandcamp. Check out his other music there as well. You will not be disappointed. And it is official. He is back on the gram. He posted for the new album January 1st, because we recorded this conversation in December. I am online several places, talkmusictalk.com to stream every single episode. I am also on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just search for @ThisIsBoyce. Special request for you. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play. Search for Talk Music Talk with Boys. And when you are there, please leave a 5-star rating and or review to help grow the audience of Talk Music Talk. There is also an app, a Talk Music Talk app. It is free wherever you like to get your apps. Again, just search for Talk Music Talk with Boys. And don't forget to check out my other podcast, the Strandcast, the official podcast of Strand Bookstore here in New York City, 12th and Broadway. Link in the show notes. And the new episode of the Strandcast just came out. First one of 2020. It is my conversation with author Andre Osserman, author of Call Me By Your Name, and his brand new book, Find Me, the sequel to Call Me By Your Name. So check that out. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, and there will be a next time, this one's for you, Liz.